Hey friends, welcome back to the House of Plenty here in downtown Hamilton, Alabama, and it's almost time for Thanksgiving. And so when I think about Thanksgiving, I start thinking about desserts because, who am I kidding? I love dessert. So a staple at my family's Thanksgiving growing up is my grandma's Impossible Pumpkin Pie. It's an impossible pumpkin pie because you don't have to make your own crust. The pie makes the crust for you. So we're just gonna dive right on in and get started on my grandma's Impossible Pumpkin Pie. We're gonna make everything right here in a blender. And I've got one 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. This isn't sweetened condensed milk, but evaporated milk. And we've got 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of cold butter, salted or unsalted is fine. I've got, let's see, a 1/2 cup of Pioneer baking mix. Pioneer is my favorite baking mix. If you've got Jiffy on hand, that'll work too. We've got 2 eggs. All of this is going right into the blender. Then we've got one 15-ounce can of solid packed pumpkin. This is not pumpkin pie mix. Pumpkin pie mix has seasonings and sugar and other things in it. You want to make sure you're getting 100% pure pumpkin. Just going to use a spatula and scrape all that pumpkin out. Right, and now we've got a pinch of salt. We've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then I've got a teaspoon each of cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. What that is that's just simply the ingredients of pumpkin pie spice. If you've got pumpkin pie spice, you can use that. Just use 3 teaspoons of that in replacement of the individual teaspoon of cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. That's it. We're gonna put this in the blender, and we're gonna do it on high for about 30 seconds. So now 30 seconds has elapsed. I'm gonna take my spatula and make sure that I scrape down the sides of the blender here, because you're gonna have some things that get caught and clumped up on the sides. We're just gonna scrape it down, and then we're gonna run the blender on high for another 30 seconds to make sure that everything gets incorporated. All right, our pumpkin pie is all mixed up in the blender here. And now I'm just gonna take about 1/2 tablespoon of butter. I've got a 9-inch glass pie dish. I'm just gonna move this butter around to grease the pie plate to help our slices of pie come out easier later. You're gonna wanna make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. And now we're just going to pour the ingredients of our pumpkin pie right into this pie plate. My grandfather loved pie of all sorts, and my grandmother always indulged him. And my grandmother is a wonderful pie maker. My grandfather's gone on to be with the Lord, but Grandma is still here with us, and she is still making pies. This was sure to show up at just about any family gathering that we had, along with coconut cream, banana cream, cherry, squash pie even. But this one is one of our family's favorites. Now we've got the pumpkin pie in our buttered pie dish. We're gonna set this on a cookie sheet just in case there's any bubble over. And we're gonna cook it at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes until when a knife is inserted in the center, it comes out clean. After 45 minutes, our pie was set and ready to come out of the oven. We let it cool for about 20 minutes, and then I moved it to the refrigerator for about 2 hours. We like to serve ours cold, but you can serve it room temperature if you like. And if you look here on the pie, that's why it's called Impossible Pumpkin Pie. We've got a crust that has developed on the outside here. That the pie did that on its own with the ingredients that we put on the blender. So now it's just time to slice and garnish this pie and eat it. And what my grandma used to do and still does is just put a big dollop of Cool Whip right there in the center. And if it's good enough for my grandma, it's good enough for me. But if you want to take your Impossible Pumpkin Pie to the next level, you can make your own whipped cream at home, and I'm going to show you how. In my stand mixer here with the whisk attachment, I've got 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and we're gonna start this on a medium to a medium high, let it go for a few minutes, and after about 2 minutes we'll come back and we'll add the next ingredient. All right, our whipped cream has been going for about 2 minutes, and we're nearly at where it's developed some soft peaks. So at this point we're gonna take 1/4 cup of powdered sugar and sprinkle that in there. and then we're gonna let it go for a few more minutes at medium to medium high until it has thick, stiff peaks. Every once in a while I like to take a break and take my whisk attachment off and just scrape around the sides of the bowl to make sure I'm not missing out on any bits of sugar or whipped cream or whipping cream. Make sure that it is all being incorporated. All right, we have reached the stiff peak stage of the whipped cream. If you go too far, you'll turn it into butter, and you don't want that. And you might ask, if you've never made your own whipped cream before, how do you know that it's at stiff peaks? Well, you know because you're able to turn the bowl upside down and it doesn't fall out. If you're at soft peaks or if it's too loose, it'll start dripping down the bowl and almost fall out. So we've got our whipped cream here, and now we just have to slice and serve the pie. We've got our slice of Impossible pumpkin pie, and we just do a little dollop of whipped cream there, and you're ready to enjoy. You should come down and try it with me. It's so good. This is like my whole childhood Thanksgiving memory wrapped up into one bite. You've got to try to make this. Thank you for joining me today at the House of Plenty in downtown Hamilton, making my favorite Thanksgiving memory, my grandmother's Impossible pumpkin pie. Won't you make it? And let us know in the comments how it worked out. The recipe for this pie and some other recipes is linked in the description below this video. And you can tag us on Instagram at Our House of Plenty. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and give us some feedback on what you want to see. But for now, me and Wes, we've got to enjoy this pie. Thank you.